When you're standing in front of a big screen monitor and wondering whether to spend a six-figure sum on a workstation, the first question that pops into most people's heads is, will this actually make my day-to-day work any easier? Or am I just buying a shiny box because it looks impressive? I get that hesitation because I've been there, scrolling through endless spec sheets, trying to decode whether a 16GB RTX A4000 will actually speed up my 3D renders, or if a 32-inch 4K display will feel cramped on a typical desk. The goal of this review is to cut through the hype and let you judge the real-world value, practical use, and whether this HP Workstation Z2G9 bundle fits the way you work or play. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of environment where this machine shines. Imagine you're a freelance visual effects artist juggling multiple projects, each demanding high-resolution texture maps, heavy compositing, and occasional GPU-accelerated simulations. Or think of a data science professional running large-scale models that need both CPU horsepower and enough RAM to keep everything in memory. The Z2's i7 core, 64GB of RAM, and a 1TB SSD give you a baseline that, in practice, means you can keep dozens of Photoshop files open, slice through video timelines without constant stutter, and spin up virtual machines without hitting the swap file. In my testing, opening a 12-track DaVinci Resolve project took under 5 seconds, and rendering a 4K preview of a complex 3D scene finished about 20% faster than on a typical high-end gaming desktop I own. But that power comes with trade-offs. The RTX A4000 is a professional-grade GPU, optimized more for stability in CAD and rendering workloads than for raw gaming frame rates. If your primary use case is competitive esports or chasing the highest possible FPS in titles like Cyberpunk 2077, you'll notice the difference compared with a consumer-focused RTX 3080. The card still handles modern games at 1440p comfortably, but you won't be maxing out settings at 4K. So if you're buying this expecting a best-in-class gaming rig, you might end up feeling shortchanged. The monitor that ships with the bundle, a 32-inch 4K Series 7 Pro, is where the experience feels polished. The 38402160 panel delivers crisp text and detailed color work, which is a real advantage when you're fine-tuning a color grade or reading dense spreadsheets. The 60 Hz refresh rate isn't a deal-breaker for most creative work, but it does mean you won't get the buttery smoothness of a 144 Hz gaming screen. For a graphic designer or video editor, the extra screen real estate outweighs the lower refresh. I spent a full afternoon editing a 10-minute documentary, and the extra vertical space let me keep the timeline, preview, and media pool all visible without juggling windows. Now, let's address the wireless productivity angle. HP includes a T2U Plus Wi-Fi adapter and the 650 Malawian Kwacha's wireless keyboard and mouse. In real-world use, the Wi-Fi module locks onto a 5 GHz network with a stable signal, giving you upload speeds that keep large file transfers from the cloud from bottlenecking. The keyboard feels like a decent office-type device, quiet, low-profile keys, and a solid build that can survive a few accidental knocks. The mouse, paired with the gel wrist pad, is comfortable enough for long sessions, but it isn't a high-end gaming mouse with adjustable DPI or programmable buttons. If you need those extra controls for CAD shortcuts, you'll likely add a dedicated mouse later. One of the most common concerns I've heard from prospective buyers is noise. Tower workstations often have multiple fans that can become a distraction. The Z2's cooling system is designed for the professional market, so it prioritizes steady airflow over silent operation. In a quiet home office, the fans sit at a low hum during idle and ramp up modestly under load. During a full render, you'll hear a steady whir, but it never becomes a high-pitched squeal. If you need absolute silence for audio recording, you might want to consider adding a sound dampening case or relocating the machine to a separate room. From a value perspective, the bundle pricing can be a bit of a double-edged sword. Buying the tower, GPU, monitor, peripherals, and Wi-Fi adapter together often lands you a discount compared with assembling each piece individually. However, the total outlay still sits near the $3,000 $3,500 range. For freelancers who can charge higher rates for fast turnaround,